Oh, hey, you're up. I folded your pants for you.
No way.
Dude, did you hit that or what?
I don't believe this. It's Monday the 18th again.
Happy Death Day to You is the sequel to Happy Death Day. It's directed by Christopher Landon and it stars Jessica Roth. So Happy Death Day to You basically is just the sequel. It starts off with Ryan, the Asian friend from Happy Death Day, and he's stuck in the loop, and then all of a sudden some time stuff goes on and an explosion happens, and then all of a sudden the loop resets and Jessica Roth is back to Monday the 18th of September again and again and again. And like the first movie was how she got out of that loop, this is how she gets out of the same loop. Again, it's the sequel. It's quite literally the only way I can think of how you make Jessica Roth the protagonist of the sequel. Happy Death Day to You is a meh sequel. It's the first movie. I had fun with it from what I remember. Yeah, I had fun, but it was also quite forgettable. The things I remember: suicide montages, a baby-faced slasher person, and then Jessica Roth, and then there was the whole ending that they recap in the movie trailer and in the movie itself. This movie, however, not as... I reckon this movie will be less memorable because, quite frankly, there is a lot to forget here. Starting off with the positives, at least, Jessica Roth, she's great. She gives another good performance as Tree Geldman. Of course, her name is Tree. Why else would you name your character Tree? The guy who plays her friend Carter, he's great. The guy who plays Ryan, he's great. Everyone gives a good performance. No one gives a bad one. That's a positive. Except for this one extra who's like this old man in a supermarket. You'll see it, but it was just really, really cheesy how it happened. Obviously, I had fun with the deaths in the movie. I know that's a little bit morbid to say, but to say the least, that the deaths were an interesting part. Basically, it's just a montage of how many ways can she kill herself. And you know, you got hairdryer, you got bleach, you got skydiving, for instance. And you know what? Alright, I cannot blame the movie for that. Because, you know, it's either that or you have the same slasher god villain happen again and again in the same location again and again for an hour and a half, and that gets quite boring, especially when, you know, she's only going to spend like 10 to 15 minutes in the movie on each day, unless they shorten it or something. As for the negatives in the movie, I'd say that a bunch of stuff in the first act happens and just doesn't make sense when you line up to the rest of the movie. Perhaps because they spend so much talk about time travel, because that's a thing now in this movie, and we all know time travel sequels don't really work the best. So all that stuff that happened in the first 20 minutes that you see, that's like a big reveal that's sort of supposed to be setting up this this interesting sequel, to say the least, and it just doesn't matter because it's not referenced again in the movie whatsoever. I mean, it would have been interesting to see Ryan, the side character, how he dealt with the time loop, because it is interesting seeing like another character, you know, deal with it rather than just being like, oh, he dealt with it for, you know, 15 minutes and then it went back to Tree for the rest of the movie. And that's fine, but what else does it matter? And of course, this movie will make its money back because it's produced by Jason Blum, whose style of making movies is basically, hey Jason, can I please have some money to make a movie? Yeah, sure, what's it about? It's about a magic toaster. Stop right there. I have $4.35. You know what? Make the movie. I'll see you in 3 months for the sequel. Happy Death Day to You. I had a fine time with it. I don't think I'll remember it that much by the end of the year. I think there are things to enjoy about this movie. There are things that you really get confused about this movie. So I will say that Happy Death Day to You is an overnight rental. Have you seen Happy Death Day to You? What did you think of it? Let me know in the comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to come on to the Planet Park. And I'll catch you guys later. Bye. Well done, you made it to the end of the video. Why don't you click on one of these two videos for more content, or subscribe so just to be reminded of when I upload. So, you know, subscribe. That'd be great.